Hello, and thanks for watching our new user Revilix training session for our new Tokio Marine HCC panel law firms. On behalf of the Revilix team, we're really excited to work with you, and we welcome you to our platform. We hope you find it to be very easy to use and make your life a lot easier and help you get your jobs done much faster as we work together on behalf of our mutual client, Tokio Marine HCC. Today's webinar will focus on just a few things. We'll do a quick overview of Revilix, who we are and what we do. I'll give you a guided tutorial of how to access the system and use it. And then we'll move into some frequently asked questions that we've received over the last couple of years about vendors and how to use the system overall. So without further delay, let's all get started. Okay. Let's start with an introduction of Revilix and who we are and what we do. So let me be very clear. We are not a litigation support services business. We were started by some very seasoned litigation support services vendors with deep backgrounds in that business who had grown frustrated along with the panel firms that they worked with and the corporations that they worked with to try and find a way to better manage job orders, better manage expenses and invoices, and really just have an idea or a better idea of what's going on in the overall environment. So we simply built this system to connect you, panel law firms, and your corporate clients, in this case, Tokio Marine HCC, to a nationwide network of very credentialed and vetted litigation support services providers through our very easy to use and intuitive web-based ordering and job management platform. Now, Revilix focuses on 5 different areas of the litigation support services world. Reprographics and trial support services. So think of things like printing and scanning and digital work and trial presentations. We work with forensics and e-discovery services, records retrieval and medical summary services, court reporting, and process services. Again, these 5 big categories will become important as I take you through the demo, but that's really how our world is organized and the vendor network that we've put together is organized. So again, we've created a very simple and easy to use web-based system that will allow you to order jobs, keep track of jobs, cancel jobs, update jobs from any connected device and web browser in the world. And we're really excited to show it to you, so let's get started. Now, our system demo is going to consist of a few things. Number 1, accessing our online system and what we call the client dashboard, which is sort of your air traffic control screen for any and everything you'll do inside our system. We'll take a look at the client profile, which is where you'll have your demographic information, name, firm name, contact info, all set up. We'll take a look at the training and FAQ tab. We'll take a look at how to create a new job order and the process for doing that. And then, of course, in the back end, if something ever changed or canceled, you can do that inside of our tool as well, and I'll show you how to do that too. So let's take a look, and we will flip screens here to the Revilix system. Now, again, our website is revilix.com, and anytime you have any questions or need to get a hold of us, you can always do that at this email address, info@revilix.com, or simply give us a call at 877-548-0604. To log in, we have our ID and password group up here on the top right-hand corner of the website. If you ever forgot your password, there's a simple password reset process that you can use. It's very similar to the other websites that you use in your personal and professional life, and very intuitive. So if you ever do forget your password, if you don't want to call us and you want to do it yourself, simply go through that and you can change it quickly. But up here, we've got our demo account ready to go, and we're going to log into the system. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, when you log in, you'll come to our home base, or what we call our client dashboard. And the dashboard literally is just a group or a list of all of the jobs that you've got in flight. Now, this is our demo account, so you can see we've got quite a few jobs. And in addition to some buttons on how the system works. So create a new job order, which again, we'll get to in just a minute. Our training and FAQ page and our client profile can all be accessed up here. Now, as you can see, we've got a ton of jobs in here as our training account. And so this search bar really is your best friend. As you acquire and accumulate more and more jobs inside of your profile, this can be the fastest way to get to things if they're not at the top of the stack. So you'll notice that it's responsive, meaning as I type, and let's just go with Acme, all the jobs for Acme Brick will come up here and dynamically update. Now, if you didn't want to do that and you wanted to organize by the job ID or the client name or client matter, you can do that simply by clicking the top of each column, the text at the top of each column, and it'll sort A to Z, and then, of course, in the opposite, Z to A. But again, the search box is your friend here, and we use that quite a bit with our demos and also as we use the system and our clients use the system. So let's skip over job order for a second. We'll go into training and FAQ. So this is a tab where we have all of our training videos set up. Now, the videos that you see here are just the pieces, parts of what we're talking about right now. But if you needed a quick refresher on how to create a job order or cancel a job order, you can watch these on YouTube. They're anywhere from 2 minutes to 38 seconds, I think. So really quick and easy. And then we do have some FAQs at the bottom here, although we'll go through some other ones in terms of how to change your password, what happens if you get a bill, what if you have to add somebody else. There's all that information in here, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. So let's go back up to our client dashboard, which again, you can always click here in the top left-hand corner and go back to home base. Our client profile really is your demographic information. So name, email address, contact info, your firm, things of that nature. You can edit your information. So let's say your phone number changed or what have you. You can go in here, click edit, update the fields, click save. There are, however, 2 fields that you cannot change. The first one is firm name, and the second one is email. And the reason for that is those are administrative tools that we need on our end to keep track of all the jobs that you submit and the firm that you're with and the clients that you have. And so if any of these ever do change, let's say your firm name changes or your email address changes, we can make that at the administrative level, and that's done at across the board and will proliferate to all the users in the system aligned with your firm or your email address name. If you do want to change your password, you can do that down here. Again, it's very similar to what you see in your personal and professional life, the other sites that you use. Old password, new password, confirm, ready, set, go. Super easy. So let's go back to the client dashboard. Now, let's jump into a new job order. And again, Revilix was built by a group of folks who have been doing this for quite a while and have seen a lot of things and solved a lot of problems. And when we built the workflows that you're going to see in a minute, we paid very close attention to ease of use, speed, and gathering the right amount of detail. We worked with vendors across all 5 of those categories. We worked with law firms, we worked with paralegals, we worked with partners, we worked with corporate clients, and really spent a lot of time trying to make this the most intuitive and easy and fast tool to enter job order information for you. And so we're really excited about what we've come up with, and let's jump in. So click new job order to get started. And this first screen is your basic blocking and tackling. Client matter is where you enter your case name. So in this case, we'll use Acme Brick versus Jones. If there's a partner or partners or attorneys or associates names, you can put them in here. Note that there are some mandatory fields. So anything with an asterisk like client matter, client name, you need to fill out or else the system will not advance. If there's an adjuster, you can pop it in there. Client name, this is a really important field. And when your law firm is set up in our system, we associate your law firm with specific clients. So you can see, for example, in our demo account, I've got the Tokio Marine lines of business in here. So maybe you work with casualty or cyber or both of them. Whatever line of business that you work with for Tokio Marine HCC, that will show up in here and must be selected so that we can understand what line of business each order flows through. Now, there is another selection here that everybody will see, which is called other/not listed. And I'll talk more about that in the FAQs, but you'll also see that one in there as well. But your primary one is going to be whatever line of business or lines of business at Tokio Marine HCC that you use. For this case, for the demo, I'm going to go with Acme Brick because, again, we have it in our client matter. Another really critical field here is the billing reference number. Now, we know that with Tokio Marine HCC, you are required to create a billing number that works back to a taxonomy or naming convention that Tokio Marine operates in order to track all of the cases that they're working on. So we would like for you to use that billing reference number in this field here. For our example here, I'm just going to do this as a demo. And we can then request a completion date. Let's say we want it by this Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, you can select anything you need in there. Job description. We'll just enter that. Oops, T-R-I-E-V-A-L. And if you want to add some special notes to the vendor, you can do that. And then simply select the box. Terms of service and privacy policy can be viewed simply by clicking that. We click next to go to the next step. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we've got 5 main groups of litigation support services that we handle: reprographics, forensics and e-discovery, court reporting, records retrieval, and process service. Each one of these boxes that you would click kicks off a specific workflow that will ask specific questions for that type of job. So for example, if we wanted a copy job, it would be, how many copies do you need? Do you want it stapled, etc. Whereas for other things, like we're going to do here for, let's do an affidavit with authorization, there are other specific questions in terms of, patient name or social security number or additional data that's going to be required. So each one of these is its own workflow that will collect specific information. Now, if you do have a job with multiple elements, so for example, in reprographics, we needed to first, copy, and then we also needed to scan. You can do all that in here. Just know that there will be 2 forms that you have to fill out, but you can do it all in one shot. What we've found over time is that typically our users go in, order one thing, and get out. So, while the possibility exists to do multiple things, we typically keep it on a 1-to-1 ratio. So we've selected, again, in records retrieval and medical summary services, our affidavit with authorization, and we're going to go next. Now, again, as I mentioned, we built this system out with a lot of feedback from a lot of different perspectives. And if you want to fill out all of these fields, you can do that. Name, social security number, matter number, all that good stuff that a vendor would need to go out and do a records request. But what we found in talking with our users and with our vendors, in many cases, there are documents already, or spreadsheets or presentations or whatever, that have all that information in there. And it's really a waste of time for a paralegal to have to go in there and enter all this stuff manually when it's already in some files. And wouldn't it just be easier to send the files? Well, the answer to that is absolutely yes. So what we've done here at the top of every page, and this works for all 17 of our job order forms, is the first thing you see is the ability to simply attach files. And so we're going to upload some files. This opens up a Windows Explorer dialog box, and we'll go here. And let's say we wanted to do a spreadsheet and a PDF and a Word doc. It doesn't matter what you want: audio files, video files, PDFs, presentations, doesn't matter. Any file type is fine here. And we're going to select those and hit open. And then important step here, we're going to click the upload button, and the system's going to think for a second, and you're going to see success for all 3 of these, meaning we have successfully attached them to this workflow. If you don't do that, when you try to go click the submit button here, it'll be grayed out. You have to upload them, okay? If there's any special instructions, you can certainly add it in here. Also, we've found that many systems have limitations of 25 megs for file attachments. So if you have something, let's say it's a video file and it's much larger than 25 meg, either figure out a way to, you can post it as a link, meaning if you've got cloud storage, Dropbox, Box, Google Drive, OneDrive, or some internal server that you share files on, you can certainly put a link in here. And just make sure that you are giving permission to the person who's going to be receiving this file to be able to go get it, or else they can't see it. Well, we're going to stick with uploading files, and we'll then click the submit button. Now, what will happen is the system will update, and it'll say, okay, here's the person that is ordering the services. Again, this is from your client profile. Here's the details of the job, that first screen that we looked at. So again, Acme Brick versus Jones. Here's our billing reference number. This is for Acme Brick, or in your case, it will be Tokio Marine HCC in the line of business. And then here's the details. Okay, they attached some files and there's some additional information in here. And if that all looks good, hit next. If it doesn't, you can go back to the system and update or add or whatever and make the correction there. But we're going to go ahead and click next. And by clicking next, we are now taken to the vendor selection process. Now, just a quick word on our vendors, or as we call them, preferred services providers. These are all vendors who are vetted by Revilix. They have master services agreements with us. So we manage those relationships. We test them for customer experience, customer service, quality of work. We work with them if there's ever an issue with a particular case or a particular client. We work with them to resolve it. So you're not just blasting this out into the universe for some unknown group to work with. These are all vendors and firms that we've got very long-standing relationships with. Many of them are nationwide. And again, for things like records retrieval or forensics, it doesn't matter where they are. We do have a lot of local vendors in all the major cities. So for things like printing and something that would potentially need to be delivered, that's all handled with another set of vendors that are local. But this is not just a group of folks that we found online and are sending jobs to. These are all vetted and highly controlled vendors that we work with. So we're going to go in here, and when your account is set up on Revilix, we will profile specific vendors for you based on your geographic location. For this case, we're going to go with Evergreen Business Services, which is our test account, and we're going to submit it. Now, what's happening right now is the system is going to do a couple of things. Number one, it's going to send you an email that says confirming your job order inside Revilix with all the information you just saw on that confirmation screen. It's going to send a message to one of our PSPs, our preferred services providers. So in this case, Evergreen Business Services, who's going to say, hey, there's a new job in the queue for you. Please go here to download it and check it out. And then number three, it's going to send a message to Revilix to say another job has been entered into the system. And that just gives us the ability to understand what's going on inside of our system every day. In addition, you'll be receiving on your screen a job created message confirming the submission. We're going to click OK. And when you look at your client dashboard, the first thing that you will see is the case that you just submitted. So really easy, straightforward. We tried to make it fast and quick for you, and we don't want to waste anybody's time. And like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory and intuitive. Now, what happens if we needed to cancel a job? We know things change. We know, whatever, things change. We have created a very simple button here, and you can see this for every job. There's a cancel, and I actually canceled one of these in a demo, where if you do want to cancel a job, all you do is hit the trash can, and it's going to give you a confirmation box, whether yes or no. I'm going to click no because I don't want to cancel this. I need to show you all one more thing. But if you do click yes, what's going to happen is you'll receive a confirmation. Revilix will receive a confirmation, and the vendor will receive a confirmation of a stop work order. Now, please know that if the job was submitted, let's say a week ago, they may have started work on that, which means there may be some costs incurred with the job. So just because you cancel it doesn't mean it's a free pass or there's no charges. There may be some charges associated with that. We handle that on a case-by-case basis, but just understand that sometimes that can be a possibility. The last piece I wanted to show you here is add records. So for affidavits with authorization orders or subpoena orders, you can add records to an existing job order. And again, that was based on client feedback where we had people who did not want to have to enter another job order, even though it's the same case, they just needed more records. So what we've done is created this shortcut, which then will open up the job order screen and allow you to go back in if you want to add some more files or select some more, or post some more information. You can certainly do that. Click upload, you're good to go. You're going to go to the bottom of the screen, hit submit. It's going to validate everything with you. Hit next, and then you'll get notification that the job was updated. And again, you'll receive confirmation, we'll receive confirmation, and the vendor will get a notification that, hey, this job has been updated. Please go out there and grab the new info and add that to your project. So really straightforward and simple. Like I said, if you ever have any questions, please send us a message or give us a call. We're happy to walk through it if you've got some challenges the first time you're walking through it. And again, of course, there's always the training and FAQ page where you can find the quick videos on how to do certain things if you can't recall. All right, with that, we're going to flip back to our presentation and go to the home stretch here, which is some user FAQs. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, you cannot just go online and get an account with the Revilix like you can with, let's say, Amazon or some other retail shopping website. Revilix is a protected environment and is only allowing access to specific law firms based on the clients that they serve. And so if you do have a new person in your office or you have someone who needs to get added to the Tokio Marine HCC account, simply let us know at info@revilix.com and we'll collect their information and we will go out and create an ID and password for them, at which point they can access the training and start using the system. It's not something that you can do on your own. As I touched on earlier, you can use the client profile section to update your ID and password or click the forgot password if you want to change it. Very simple. Our support information, as we've talked about a couple of times already, is right here. One question that we never really get very often, but I want to make sure that everybody understands, is that you should never see an invoice from the vendor who is doing the work for you for our Revilix project. And I'm sure many of you watching this are very excited about the fact that not having a need to manage invoices any longer. We handle all of that on behalf of the vendors and behalf of, in this case, Tokio Marine HCC. So please, if you do get a vendor invoice from something that was done on the Revilix platform, do not pay the invoice, do not bill Tokio Marine HCC. Just simply forward the invoice to our accountant, accounting@revilix.com, or contact Debbie, who handles all of our invoicing, and she'd be happy to help you out. Just don't even have to worry about it anymore. Another question we get asked a lot is, well, we've got a great, fill in the blank vendor. We would really like to continue using them, but they're not part of your system. Can they be added? The short answer is absolutely yes. We are always looking for high quality vendors to work with as part of our vendor network. However, understand that just because you work with them, it's not an automatic add to our system. There's a process, and we have to do our due diligence and vetting of that particular vendor to make sure that they meet our standards. And we also do a master services agreement with them to be a preferred service provider for our company and our clients. So the best way to do this right now is, if you do have a vendor that you like to work with, just send us an email at the address you see here, info@revilix.com, with their information, and we'll go do some outreach to them, explain who we are, where the lead came from, and then we'll just have a conversation to see if there's interest on their part about participating in our network. If and when they check all the boxes and we come to an agreement, when they are added to our network, they will become one of your vendors. If you remember in the vendor drop-down box list, you'll then see them for that particular litigation support services category going forward. But we're always looking for new vendors. We want to be able to provide our clients with the best and the brightest. So if you do have folks you like, please let us know. All right, another question we've gotten is, can you order services through our platform for other clients, meaning anybody other than Tokio Marine HCC? The answer is yes, we can do that. And if you recall, in the job order process, there is a drop down for client name that says other/non-Revilix client when you're ordering that job. Simply select that, and that's a flag to us that says, okay, they're using it for some other purpose, which is totally fine. Obviously, we would love to talk to you more about that other client to see if it makes sense for us to talk to them about using Revilix, but you can do this. We've had this happen with some of our panel law firms who got into a pinch looking for a vendor to handle a very specific thing. They didn't have anybody, and they were able to use our platform to connect with a qualified vendor to go handle some special services. And we will simply then invoice you directly for those services until a time when that other corporate client will become a mutual client of ours and we could bill them. But there is a way to do that. We're happy to talk through that if you do have opportunities to do that and on a larger basis other than here and there. Last but certainly not least, as I had mentioned, we have done extensive user testing. We have gathered extensive feedback from vendors and from users and paralegals and partners and corporations and corporate counsel. But we know we probably haven't totally nailed it, and we never want to stop improving. And so if you have an idea on how to make things easier or more intuitive, or a function and capability that you don't see out there today, we'd love to know. Just send us an email, and we have an ideas box you can just send to ideas@revilix.com. And we would love to talk to you more about it. We're always looking to be better. So with that, I want to thank you for your time. Hopefully this wasn't too painful. Again, if you have any if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us via phone, via email, and we're happy to work with you and figure out your issue. And with that, I will close this out. Again, thank you for your time, and we look forward to working with you soon.